Wednesday, June 25th. Is there it's a meeting of the Acushnet Board of Selectmen. Is there a motion to call the meeting to order?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, the meeting is called to order. Just a reminder, this meeting will be audio and video recorded. Please rise to the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, gentlemen, before we get into the appointment, I just want to take a moment of personal privilege to just comment on, Mr. Gold, are we still on? To comment on town meeting. First, I want to commend our town moderator, Mr. Les Dakin, who did a great job maintaining order. You know, it was emotional, highly charged. You know, some people felt like, oh geez, you know, I wish Les had let us speak a little longer, but he did his best to make sure that everybody was heard, not being redundant, repetitive. So Les, if you're watching, thank you for that. Also, to our finance committee, who spent, you know, the better part of 6 months dedicating countless days and nights away from their family to cobble together a budget on behalf of the town. And you know, their finance committee is the backbone of our community. It's not a sexy job. It's not forward-facing, and you know, they probably make more enemies than they do friends. But that's their job, is to make sure that the town is in good shape financially. So, the finance committee, thank you for your work there, and all the other people who participated. You know, there were residents who I'd never seen before who provided great insight, great information. That's what the process should be. And you know, so anyway, but I just want to recognize those two groups for their great work. And of course, the town clerk and everybody else who worked to make sure that the meeting went off. So, with that said, we have a couple things. Verizon, they have 2 previous poll requests that they're now withdrawing. So we have Verizon's withdrawal of petitions MA 2024-22, MA 2024-23, MA 2024-25, MA 2024-40. Is there a motion to accept the withdrawal of those petitions?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Right, we have another one, which is for petition to withdraw petition MA 2024-50. They no longer requesting that, so there's a motion to accept that withdrawal.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. I believe that'll be it sometime. Polls. All right, next item, first item in your book is the our town planner had set off a request for to pursue grant money, which does not cost the town. I'd like to, basically what this is the state safe streets and roads. It's being executed by the federal government to do things like, you know, like we did, if you recall, that Riverside Park down below. We did those sidewalks along there. That was kind of the state program, but it's kind of, this is modeled after that. And it would just allow us to submit an application, but the town planner didn't want to do that until she got our approval.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
it seems like this is being, it says, as the town administrator of the town of Acushnet, I recognize the town of Acushnet and surrounding communities. So,
You can do the board with the plan.
roadway fatalities, I mean, I'm just a little concerned, again, going after, I don't know why we, grants and fatalities, I would ask anybody to try to tell me what road in Acushnet we've had multiple fatalities on in one area of this town, and I can't think of it. I spoke to a number of public safety individuals, so why are we doing this?
Right.
Is there a concept and a reason behind studying
Yeah, so this would be
something that's not happening?
I think the verbiage is surrounding communities. We know it's not just Acushnet, but every, you know, there's always something going on. Roadways, we can strike that. That's just, you know, it's just verbiage. If you feel more comfortable striking that, we can do that. But the point is, there's an opportunity to go after grant money to do sidewalks or improve some of our roads. And, you know, so that's what that's all about.
know if that's what it's about. It's a different story, right?
Yeah, I think that was just art form. I think it might have been even a form letter that SERP had circulated, and this is run through Serpent, so but we can strike that if that makes you feel better.
I just don't understand. I mean, I've resided in this town my whole life, and we don't have any particular corner, any particular intersection, any particular roadway that's had multiple fatalities on it, outside of a few here and there. So I just got a little concerned. My pet peeve is applying for grants that aren't going to serve a purpose for the community, and we're just sucking up state money that could be utilized somewhere else, as we all know. And you alluded to right at the beginning of the meeting, town meeting, right? And we wouldn't have to go through what we went through at town meeting with reorganizing articles to come up with an extra $155K if the state did their job, is maybe stop handing out money on foolish grants and getting more money to Chapter 70 where we need it for the school departments, right? Funding for schools. So that's all I'm saying is I don't like to, if it serves a great purpose, that's one thing, but if, I don't like to misappropriate.
And we can always, we feel it doesn't work for us, we can always deny it.
I'm fine with it though. Make a motion to.
Mr. Chairman, I would.
Hold on. We got a motion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Great. No?
I would have asked that the motion say that the board direct the town administrator to sign this draft.
Okay.
All right, I make a motion to direct the town administrator to sign the draft.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. All right, next item. Ann Lapiensky is in library tech. Unfortunately, she has to resign. It's a motion to accept with regret.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Carries. Also from Paul Mello, unfortunately is going to be resigning his special police officer role with the town. He's going to do this in Rochester. Is there a motion to accept with regret?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. All right, next item is an AFSCME MOU agreement with Laurie Walsh. As you know, we talked about this at town meeting, but essentially what Laurie's going to be doing is absorbing some of the duties from the planning department into her day-to-day, so she just won't be working on building department issues. We felt like this was the right move to provide a one-stop shop, as close to as one-stop shopping for our residents and people who want to do business with the town. So we're appreciative that Laurie is willing to do that, and it had to go through a collective bargaining situation. Mr. Hinckley, I know you were point guard on this for us, so if you want to talk about that.
Yeah, just a quick note. We still haven't come to a complete agreement with the contract with AFSCME, but we did get an agreement for the two items tonight for the settlements to handle this. They all agreed to it, and I think this is a great idea. And I think the enthusiasm that Laurie's shown, willing to jump in and get working with planning and building, and she has the support of her department head as well. I think this is a great idea.
Awesome. Is there a motion to accept?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. All right, next item is with Jesse Gomes. It's a dispatcher.
Correct.
Mr. Hinckley.
So in this one, there was some back and forth on scheduling for open shifts with dispatch, and there was a grievance. And Mr. Kelly and I sat down with the union, and we were able to negotiate the closing of the grievance, or resolution of the grievance with Mr. Gomes, essentially covering the 3 lost overtime shifts that he has. And this is part of the negotiation process for AFSCME, was putting to bed all the grievances, and this will handle that one.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor? Motion carries. All right, gentlemen, we have annual appointments. I'll take the time, guys, please jump in, but to really recognize all of the work of our volunteers. I referenced the town moderator earlier and the finance committee, but there are some really dedicated town lovers of the town who just care about the town and want it to run well. A dedicated, not just the electeds, but we got a beautification committee, we got bicycle and pedestrian safety, just some really, really good people who want to make a difference. And so I think really going through this process is take that as the residents are watching, just think of them who do a lot of work behind the scenes to keep this town operational. So, gentlemen, I don't know if you want to add to that or not.
I think you covered it pretty well, Mr. Chairman.
Agreed.
Starting off with the first is to reappoint the Council on Aging Director, Lauren Golder, for a term of 1 year.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Agricultural Commission alternates, Thomas Whitehead, James Laycock, Robert Conklin. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. ADA Coordinator, Andrew Mabola. Motion to appoint.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Animal Control Officer Inspector, Rebecca Tomlinson. Motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Animal Control Officer Inspector Assistant, Ann Easterbrook. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Beautification Committee, Robert Conklin, Eric James, Kelsey Janik, Janine Perry, Nancy Viveros. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Bicycle and Pedestrian Safety Committee, Laurie Bates, Eric James, Cheryl Hall. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
The next one's Board of Appeals alternate. I spoke with Ms. Labonte, the town clerk, today because I know that Mr. Hippolito's appointment has expired and it should be on this list. It
Okay.
expires in 2025, so I spoke with the town clerk. So I know that Mr. Jeff White is our alternate, and I also spoke with the chairman, Mr. Brown, and I know Mr. White has, is instrumental part of the family business, and sometimes he can't always make it. So if the board so chooses, we could make Mr. White, make a motion to appoint Mr. White Jeff White as a permanent member to replace Paul Hippolito's expired term.
Okay.
That's all right with the board?
Yep.
Fine with me.
Motion.
Okay,
Is
make
this
a motion to appoint Jeff White as a permanent member to replace Paul Hippolito's expired term.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Just on a note on that, we now have 2 alternate positions open on ZBA. It is critical that we get a couple of alternates appointed ASAP. If we have one member missing from the body, it makes it very difficult for the Zoning Board of Appeals to be effective at doing their job. So please, if there's anybody out there that's interested in joining the committee, it roughly meets once a month. Please, it's an alternate position, so you don't always have to show up, but it's basically a one month meeting, once a month meeting. So if you would like to be appointed as an alternate, please apply at the Board of Selectmen's office. Send her a letter of interest. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
All right. Sounds good, thank you. Next, where did I move off?
Bylaw.
Yep, next one is Board of Selectmen Administrative Assistant, Sydney Viveros. Just want to take this time, since we've appointed Tanya, Sydney's been doing a great job kind of running the show in our office single-handedly, working with Lauren Golder to backfill with some senior workers and really doing a good job to keep things up and running. There's a motion to reappoint Sydney Viveros.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Bylaw Review Committee, Robert Brown, Mark Francois, John Howcroft, Robert Hinckley, Pam Levante. Is there a motion to appoint?
So moved.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Great. Community Preservation Commission Committee, Jesse Ellis. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. I'm going to ask that we hold off on Conservation Commission. We've got an executive session later on tonight to talk about that operation. Constable Kelly Tomlinson.
Motion to appoint.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Council on Aging Board of Directors, Deborah Raposa, Daniel Smith.
Motion to appoint.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Cultural Council, Kelsey Janik, Paulette Hudson.
Motion to appoint.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Deputy Building Inspector, Nathan Darling,
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
I spoke with Mr. Barbola today because I was getting a little confused. I know we did something with the Jeffrey Fabian, great guy. And Mr. Barbola says we haven't used the deputy building inspector in some 3 years he's been here. So he said it's at the purview of the board if we so choose to do it. But again, that was something that Mr. Merritt was doing, and we don't really utilize it.
That's fine.
So, well, Mr. Barbola hasn't utilized it, so
All right.
if it's something that we need to have an appointment for, we could always do something further on down the road, or we just
Bump up
we could do
Jeffrey.
Jeffrey, right?
All right, sure.
Mr. Fabian.
All right, fair enough. Skip that one. There's a motion to appoint Jeff Fabian, local building inspector.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Wire inspector Frank Knox.
Motion to appoint.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Wire inspector Doug Corrigan, deputy.
Motion to appoint.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Election member registrar Democrat Joe Costa.
Motion to appoint.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. EMA director Tom Farland.
Motion to appoint.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. EMA director Ed Karen.
Motion to appoint.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Enforcement agent of the Board of Selectmen, building commissioner Andy Babola.
Motion to appoint.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Finance committee, Eric Chu, Kristen Flynn,
Motion.
Lisa Orlowski Tomlinson.
Motion to appoint.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Forest warden, Thomas Farland.
Motion to appoint.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
What's the difference between the forest warden and the tree warden?
I asked myself the
One
question.
one cuts down trees, one protects the trees.
Got it, okay. All right.
Got it.
All right, golf management and operation committee, John Aberay, Andrew Corrigan, David Flynn, Adam Heavey, Neil Downing. Is there a motion to appoint?
One correction on John Abery Jr., it says.
Okay. yep, sorry
So
about
just
that.
want to make sure we get that right.
Yes.
Motion to appoint.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
the next category, I got a big circle around it. It says Golf Facilities Exploratory Committee.
Yep.
We appointed them back in January, I think it was 21st.
Yep.
And we put a sunset of 120 days or some column that says that right
Yep.
here. I don't think we want to appoint for a full year.
No, I was
So
gonna say
What do
that,
we want to do here?
when they submit their report, and I know, we've had some conversations with them, I'd like to get them in here in the next few weeks. I think they're close to that. I've kind of held off just because we've had so many other things going on with town meeting and all that jazz. So we would just say,
Can we do 60 days?
yeah, reappoint, or we could even just say expiration upon receipt of final report.
Okay. Yeah, we want- I know we said sunset, and,
Yep.
and we're over the 120, we're
Yeah,
at
yeah,
180, we're already that far, but we
Yep.
got a little late start to it, so you want to
Say
run through the
60?
list and
Yep.
certain motions.
Richard DePrado, Jeffrey Fabian, Doug Corrigan, Wayne Lavassa, John Roy, Adam Dismaris, Dave DeRoche. Is a motion to appoint.
Motion to appoint for,
You want to call 60 days?
just, we'll run with that, we can continue
Yep.
if we do. Motion to appoint for 60 days.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Historical Commission, John Larson.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
can I try to do a little bit better job at so that things don't get misconstrued with the town clerk's office for the appointments? I'll make a motion to appoint the Golf Facilities Exploratory Committee members presented for 60 days from June 30th, 2025.
Okay.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Good call. All right, Historical Commission, John Larson.
Motion to appoint.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Inspector of Garages, Thomas Farland.
Motion to appoint.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Insurance Advisory Committee, retiree designee. Did Sue still wants to do this? For some reason, I thought we got something from Sue saying she didn't want to do it anymore, or am I
I don't-
misremembering that?
I've heard that she doesn't want to do it, but I never received a letter.
Got it.
so-
Okay.
On hold.
Yeah, let's just make sure.
Okay.
She still wants to do that. All right.
That was a long time ago, though.
Yep. Master Plan Committee, I know, Mr. Gasper, you're on that. Any insight on this? As far as expiration date, same thing?
Now, Serped's actually putting things together with the help of Victoria Alfaro, the town planner, and they're doing that over the summer months. I think they have one more, like demonstration, event thing that they're gonna try to do over at the creamery in July. They put out a date. They're supposed to notify me so I can contact the owners and see if it's available for them to be there. And they're gonna put it all together. I think somewhere in September, they're gonna bring back a template of basically
Okay.
what the master plan looks like, and then we'll go over everything to make sure it's good to go, have some discussion on that, and then they'll kind of like final print packet, and send it off.
Nice, all right.
So,
Master Plan Committee, Planning Board, Steve Boucher, Pete Jampa, Kevin Gasper Senior, Dave DeVignan, Pete Benoit, Ryan Resendes, Melissa Cudera, Jesse St. Gelais, Paul Sullivan, Jessica Braley, Jacob Ballerino, Kelsey Janik.
Motion to appoint.
Second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
so Jessica Braley, Jacob Ballerino, and Kelsey Janik are all appointments for alternates.
Okay. Yep, that's right.
Just for the record.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
All right, Moth Superintendent Inspector, Dan Menard. I always like this one, it's pretty funny.
Motion to appoint.
Second, I was, you know, somebody is opening their wallet, right? That's really what it comes down to. Portable Sign Committee, Andrew Babola.
Motion to appoint.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I guess we need a parking officer. That usually was the town administrator.
Town administrator.
I would ask that it be for 3 months.
Okay.
Motion to appoint Jamie Kelly as the parking officer. To the end of September.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. We already did portable sign. Sealer of weights and measures, Theodore Machado. Is there a motion?
Motion to appoint.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Sealer, shellfish warden, Robert Maderas.
Motion to appoint.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. I guess we have to appoint ourselves to the Regional Conservation Board. There's a motion to appoint Mr. Hinckley, Mr. Gasper, and myself, Mr. Ronag.
Motion to appoint.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Special Police Officer for New Bedford Waterworks, Dan Menard.
Motion to appoint.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. CERTA Representative, Mr. Hinckley.
Motion to appoint.
Still down for that?
Sure.
All right, there's a motion, I'll second that. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Street Naming Committee, Tommy Farland. Is there a
Motion to appoint.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Tax Title Custodian, Jennifer Garant.
Motion to appoint.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Town Accountant Assistant, Jamie Lynn Velasquez.
Motion to appoint.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Town Treasurer Collector, Jennifer Garant.
Motion to appoint.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye. Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I got a question for the town administrator. So we don't have town treasurer collector assistant, Tanya Tavaz, on this list. Should we be doing that now? Or should we, because of a probation period, is that what we're waiting to do until that goes through?
Actually, with the collective bargaining agreement, I don't think you have to do the appointment.
It's the same thing as the assistant accountant.
I was going to bring that up after the meeting. For all of the positions in the
Yeah,
collective
no, I know.
bargaining.
But I do think, just from a ceremonial standpoint, to let people know where they stand, I don't see any downside in doing that, and good call on Tanya.
I'll make a
Bring it up.
motion to appoint the town treasurer collector assistant, Tanya Tavaz.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye. It's something that we usually do in the finance area of
Yeah.
the town, right?
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
think by charter we should be doing it. I'd have to look at that. but-
Next one, Brad Fish, Veterans Agent.
Motion to appoint?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. One, just FYI, gentlemen, I had a conversation with Brad. He may have spoken to you guys as well, but one of the things, Brad does a ton for this town. He's got limited hours, and so asked him to put together just essentially job description, all of the duties that he does above and beyond, you know, what we're paying him for, what, the 11 or 12 hours that's on the books, and so it's something that he was just wanting to make sure he was on solid ground with us. I'm like, you kidding me? This guy's done such a great job.
Yeah, no, there's no question about it.
So I just wanted to bring that to your attention.
Yeah.
If there's anybody that we want to give a vote of confidence to, it's Brad Fish, who's done an amazing job.
Agreed. He was absolutely incredible I remember when Mr. Cormier resigned, and I had a conversation with Mr. Fish to get him. He was the former VSO in Faven, and Brad's done a phenomenal job taking care of our vets and also hosting some really great ceremonial events for the town of Acushnet on behalf of the town of Acushnet. So I'd like to thank Brad Fish for his impeccable work for the veterans.
100%.
Keep it up, Brad. Ware, Tilcon Capaldi, PJ Keating, Matthew Robertson, Nancy Franco, Claudia Moco, Jen Olivera, Bryant Ribeiro, Hugo Pereira, and Lenny Catojo.
Motion to appoint.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Carries. Once again, heartfelt thank you on behalf of the Board of Selectmen to all of the volunteers, all of the paid staff. Thank you for all you do for us. It's really incredible. Again, like going back to town meeting, some people get really freaked out about what went on at town meeting, and I'm like, are you kidding me? Compared to other towns, that was like nothing. And I think we're really lucky to have all of the people who are serving our town, whether you're a school committee member, or a finance committee member, or Board of Appeals, whatever. We couldn't do it without you. So thank you very much. All right. Next, speaking of an important issue, is our town administrator. I know people are waiting with bated breath as to what's going on there. As you recall, gentlemen, we put together a search and screen committee. We had a bunch of resumes on file. The committee went through them, and without throwing shade on the folks who were who submitted their credentials, the group felt that batch would not be a great fit for the town at this point, and asked that the Board of Selectmen reopen the process and re-advertise. Maybe there's some people out there who are at other towns who have come on off of town meeting and want to make a change. So that's first order of business, the motion to reopen the search for the town administrator position.
Make that motion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Next is Mr. Kelly, who is the incumbent town administrator. It was his goal to retire at the end of the month. However, Jamie's been aware of the situation, and we've discussed it. And the board asked that we go back to Mr. Kelly, and he has graciously agreed to stay on for a period of time, so we at least get the tax certified, get us through the fall up to hopefully fall town meeting, give us a little bit of breathing room.
Still have.
Give us a little bit of breathing room. He's put together.
We're gonna have to extend that parking officer position.
We've put together, what that would look like, but essentially it's just rolling over what his current duties are. And again, thank you to Mr. Kelly and to Mrs. Kelly and the Kelly family. Jamie, you've filled a huge void for us in town, but I think what was really most heartwarming was just seeing what you do with the Council on Aging and with the cookout there. I think that's a testament of the type of person you are. Do you bat 1,000? No. Does anybody? No. But you've been a steady hand to get us through some really rocky times, and I think your financial expertise has been really, really helpful to us during your time. So, gentlemen, I don't know if you have any questions or thoughts or anything you want to offer up.
No, I mean, I completely agree with you, Mr. Chairman. I mean, Mr. Kelly, he did fill that void for the town. And the one thing I can say about Mr. Kelly, I've worked numerous days, hours alongside of him, and we don't always get along, and he knows that, and I know that. But that's not what it's all about. What I can tell the people of this community is he's extremely passionate about the people of this community. For somebody who doesn't live here, he's always got the taxpayer in his heart. So I think that's what I most appreciate about Mr. Kelly and the dialogue and the conversations. Sometimes the debates we have is, I know in the bottom of my heart, he's got the best interests of the people of this community in the bottom of his heart. And I think that's what makes him and I work so well together, is we share that common goal. So we have been fortunate to have him for the last several years. And we're fortunate enough for him to have that conversation with his wife and to his wife. Thank you very much, Mrs. Kelly, because it's not easy, right? There's a certain time in your life where you want to retire, and I know Jamie's at that point, but as the chairman has said, he is gracious enough to stay on board and help us navigate through the next few months. So whatever that's going to look like, that's entirely up to us to figure that navigation process out, right? So it's basically, we've always talked about it, Mr. Wallner and I, we've said it in previous administrations as well, right? We're the Board of Selectmen, we give the town administrator the coordinates, he gets the ship to ground, right? That's his job, is to get us there. So he's done a pretty damn good job of doing that for the board.
And I think what was really impressive, Jamie, is when we were talking this through, I mean, you've been here for 3 years, right? 2 years, 3?
3.5.
3.5.
Who's counting?
And he knew that we still have some things we've got to accomplish and figure out. And, you know, his response was that of somebody who's been here for 30 years. He said, I can't professionally leave you guys in this situation. So bravo, and thank you for that, Mr. Kelly. So, I don't want to get emotional. So anyway, would there be a motion to appoint, to continue Mr. Kelly, subject to us reading the agreement and coming to terms, but it's basically just rolling over what his current terms are now.
I'll do that, subject to review of the contract, right? I haven't seen it, so.
Second.
But it's more than likely everything's legit.
But I just want to make sure this is really for the community, department heads, the people that we appointed, to know that there will be somebody in the central office. Again, Sydney, you ran out when it was raining, but you've been a big part of this over the last month or so. When we moved Tanya, Sydney has really grown into the job in a month. You've done a great job. I was just telling the board, you know, coordinating with the YES program, and the senior work people, and just doing a lot of stuff that might not be visible. So thank you as well, Sydney. Really appreciate it. All right.
Yeah, motion, I second it.
Yeah, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right, very good. All right, so we've got a bunch of stuff going on tonight. Above and beyond this, we've got an finance transfers. Sorry about that. I'll turn that over to Mr. Kelly.
As you know, at the end of the year, under Chapter 44, Section 33B, we can transfer between certain line items and departments excess cash to a place we need it. And we also have the perennial transfers out of reserve fund to take care of fire and police overtime, which hopefully will resolve all those problems in the future. So I asked that on July 8th meeting, we will have the final numbers to be sure on the OT, fire and police. So we take that up at that point and it'd be on the agenda then. Because as you can see, those are round numbers and they're estimates, and I'd like to refine them a little more. As far as the transfers, I'm looking to transfer $186,000 from excess funds in the planning board, Medicare account, Old Colony, DPW CMAS recycling, CMAS incinerator, and veterans benefits into $40,000 for legal, $145,000 in the health insurance escrow trust, and building inspector temporary $1,000. That's because we're starting to use Mr. Fabian more and more.
Right.
Motion to approve transfers?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. All right, so we've got an executive session to deal with the fire chief, and then we won't go into, we won't return. Then we have a joint meeting of the Soil Board and the Board of Health, which is an executive session which Mr. Gasper will run. And then we have an executive session with the Conservation Commission, which we'll then have to come back, open up a separate selectmen's meeting, do that, and go through that with the Conservation Commission. So, with that said, we have executive session under General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21A, subsection A2, to discuss strategy sessions in preparation for negotiations with non-union personnel, or to conduct collective bargaining sessions or contract negotiations with non-union personnel, fire chief MOA, if an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the bargaining position of the public body and the chair so declares, and the board will not return to public session. Is there a motion to go to executive session 1?
So moved?
Second.
Roll call vote, Mr. Gasper?
Yes.
Mr. Hinckley?
Yes.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Good. All right, we are now in executive session. We will not return to this Board of Selectmen's meeting.